Start this quarter-final. Goalkeeper Stephen O'Keefe makes his 17th championship appearance for Waterford, and having been beaten 5 times in the Munster final, will be striving for a clean sheet this afternoon. He's still a very good goalkeeper. It's a very strong full back line, with Shane Fives and Barry Coughlin joining All-Star cornerback 2015 Noel Connors. Austin Gleeson from Mount Sion and Waterford City is a dominant force in this team, with last year's Young Hurler of the Year, Tadhg de Burka at number 5 and Philip Mahoney on the other wing. 4 Mile Water's Jamie Byrne has established a very strong centre-field partnership with Dara Fives, who will once again wear the number 18 jersey. The half-forward line is a lethal cocktail of young and old, with 19-year-old Shane Bennett at centre-forward, surrounded by the elder lemons, 29-year-old team captain Kevin Moran and 33-year-old Michael Brick-Walsh. The inside line is the scoring line for the Dacia, as it is expected that Patrick Curran, Pádraig Mahoney and Maurice Shanahan will ask serious questions this afternoon of the Wexford defence. Mark Fanning from Glen Barntown has re-established himself as first-choice goalkeeper for Wexford. He's a good shot stopper and a proven penalty taker, if anyone can see them. Matthew O'Hanlon captains the side and plays here at full-back with Owen Moore, and Liam Ryan, who replaces James Breen, who has been very ill this week. We wish him the best. Dermot O'Keefe will wear the number 5 jersey, and joining him in the outer defensive line will be 6'5" Paddy Foley at centre-back, with Éanna Martin on the other wing. Jack O'Connor has a strong hurling DNA, as he's the son of John and nephew of the great George O'Connor. He will start in centre field with former Wexford under-21 captain Owen Conroy. Lee Chin is a naturally talented player and is named at centre forward. His influence is huge on this Wexford team, and today he'll be joined by Liam Oak McGovern and Harry Kehoe in the half-forward line. The main man up front is full forward Conor MacDonald, who scored 30 points in 3 championship matches. Paul Morris and David Dunn will operate right beside him in that inner line, at top of the right and top of the left. Well, of course, Waterford and Wexford may be friendly and quite close neighbours geographically, but on the hurling fields of Ireland, it's only their 4th ever championship clash. And while Waterford may be favourites today, it's the Wexford boys that hold the balance of success, with 2 victories to 1 in their favour. They last met in the quarter-final of the championship 8 years ago in 2008, when Waterford got through with just a point to spare. But 2 years ago, it was the turn of the Slaney-siders to taste victory when they won a qualifier by 3 points. On the sideline for us, getting it up close, is Donald O'Grady.
Yeah, Martin, I'm just watching Waterford are going to play their first half with the breeze, and it'll be interesting to see whether they push up players. They have obviously 6 there for the throw-in, but that's, I think, will be the main target. Let's just see how Waterford do from then on.
Match is on. The first of the All-Ireland Championship quarter-finals is on. Match referee is Alan Kelly. It's his very first All-Ireland quarter-final, and that ball is wide as Waterford won the toss and are playing from left to right as we look at it. Anthony Daly is right beside me. Anthony, your views on this?
Yeah, Marty, just looking forward to it now, because, you know, how do Waterford recover? We've heard the lads, you know, talking about it, and it was a crushing Munster final defeat, and Wexford have a bit of momentum, but you'd think that Waterford might be able to get the, you know, the wagon back on tracks fairly quickly, and that's what Derek will be hoping, playing with the wind, especially in the first half.
Here come Waterford, straight from the Wexford puck out. Going forward at pace and speed, of course, is Kevin Moran, laying it off. There's Shane Bennett, giving a little bit of space. Chance here for Maurice Shanahan, and that's over the bar. Good score. Opening score for Waterford off the stick of Maurice Shanahan.
Yeah, just the start they'd have been looking for. Fantastic run by Moran, you know, and burst through. I think Alan Kelly had pointed for the free, but he gave the advantage, and a tap over for Morris really from there.
Tuck out from Mark Fanning, and again that's a frontal charge, and good work indeed by Jamie Byrne to be able to stand up immediately from that. The hurley is broken, but he's fitting well, just 22 years of age, from 4 Mile Water.
Yeah, it was actually Jack O'Connor's hurley that broke. I think Jamie still has his stick in his hand, but you know, their frees, and Paddy Mahoney is usually deadly. You know, maybe the Munster final he was a bit rusty, but if he can recover this marksmanship, it's a huge weapon for Waterford.
Pádraig Mahoney from the middle of the field is going to raise a white flag. 2 points for Waterford.
Yeah, it's a great start for them, Marty. You know, that's what they'll have wanted coming off. You know, you really just want to get a bit of reassurance, winning a few balls, not really operating with an out-and-out sweeper. As I look down, Tadhg de Burka just marking Lee Chin at centre-back.
Knocked away by Philip Mahoney. Sideline ball, however, for Wexford.
Yeah, if anything, Marty, it's Wexford better operating into the wind with Paddy Foley as a spare man behind Brick-Walsh there. So they're setting up with the sweeper rather than, I suppose the wind is dictating that, maybe that Derek feels he has to push up with the wind.
Jack O'Connor from St. Martin's Piercestown taking the sideline cut, coming over for his Harry Kehoe, sending it across. Good work indeed, great fielding by Waterford. Under pressure, easily dealing with it was Dara Fives. He can play cornerback, he can play midfield.
Yeah, and an interesting little cameo there. David Dunn has really lit up the championship in the last couple of games, Marty, against Offaly and against Cork with the speed, and I'm sure though Waterford will have plans for him to bottle him up there, and Dara Fives making a big start, like setting down a marker there, first high ball and just brushing him aside really and grabbing the ball, and he'll need low ball instead of that type of ball.
Torrick Mahoney is inside his own 45-metre line. It's dropping in, and the goalkeeper had to just go into reverse slightly. He judged it perfectly, and Wexford come away with it. Left half back is Éanna Martin, now back playing with his own club of Geraldino Hanrahans and New Ross. Coming forward, but leaving behind him was Dave Dunn, and Waterford almost come clean with it. Wexford just finding it hard to get their rhythm going here. Referee has given a free, and it's going Waterford's way.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he indicated somebody touched it on the ground, Mark. It was a chance for David Dunn. He got a bit of space, and he ran into traffic. And look, we all know Waterford have a lot of bodies around that middle, centre of the half-back line. So going in there is not the move for him. He should try and go wide every time.
Every time he stands over the sliotar, you sense that Torrick Mahoney fancies his chances. On a calm enough afternoon here in Thurles. It's dropping in again. But good work on this occasion by Paddy Foley. The Waterford regained the possession rather easily. It's Shane Bennett under pressure. Putting in the hard work is Matthew O'Hanlon. Ball comes back out. Waterford chasing everything. Again, it's Jamie Barron. Hand passing it inside. Nice ball. Comes for his left half forward, Michael Brick Walsh, and that's sailing between the posts. Good play, Waterford, I must say.
Yeah, fantastic score, Marty, because it looked like the chance might be gone down. Fantastic bit of vision from Shane Bennett to pick out Jamie Barron way out the middle of the field. Like, it's an unusual sort of a pass, made a bit of ground, popped a brick, and that's a great start for Waterford. Really, they'll be thrilled with the way they've settled back into it.
Tuck out comes down towards Lee Chin. His performance is vital. He gets away for the very first time in this quarter-final, and Wexford are up and running. It's taken just over 5 minutes, but he is an inspirational leader once he's on the ball.
Yeah, and I think Liam Dunn will have given clear instructions to Mark Fanning to get as much ball down on top of him as they can. He's really turned their season around. He missed the Dublin game. They looked rudderless, and since he has came back, he has given massive leadership.
Ball breaks inside from Morris Shanahan. It's still Morris. Great hook by Jack O'Connor. Mark Fanning has the situation under control, or at least should have. But the ball is bobbling around the place. Goalkeeper under pressure. Goalkeeper is off his line, comes back outside, and it's another point for Waterford. Again off the stick of Michael Brick Walsh.
Yeah, again, a bit of uncertainty in the Waterford full-back line. They won't be too happy with that. Derek Hush, a good full-back in his day, probably saying to them, look, clear your lines at all costs, because they hesitated and Morris wouldn't give it up, and eventually he forced a turnover to Brick, who that's his second from playing. I would be delighted with that start.
Derek McGrath encouraging from the sideline, and must be well pleased. The puck out's being won cleanly by Waterford. Kevin Moran again on landing him. Terra Firma runs into a wall of purple and gold jerseys. Comes back for his Éanna Martin. Formerly played with Sarsfields in Cork City and won a Cork County Championship with them. Comes back out for his Noel Connors. Laying it back for his Tadhg de Burka, as Waterford look firm and assertive in the opening few minutes. Ball comes down towards Patrick Curran, turning this and sending it to the left and wide. And that is Waterford's only second wide of this quarter-final, but they've scored 4 times.
Yeah, probably a silly wide, really, Marty. There was bodies outside him that he should have recycled to, and tried the one over the shoulder, and a good semi-block by Owen Moore. And Waterford certainly comfortable in the setup at the minute, in that his Wexford are actually playing the sweeper out and out, and when you do that against Waterford, you are playing into their barrow. We saw how Tip could upset them the last day by by getting up on Tadhg de Burke and pushing up. So I think, you know, that I know there is a wind down there and it's very, very tight out down for the minor match there, and the pitch is cut to the bone and the ball is flying, so any mistakes will be crucial, and you know, any mistake can cause a goal at any stage, a cornerback, you know, miscontrolling or anything like that. So it's very tough conditions down there, even though beautiful now. The pitch is in fantastic order.
Puck out comes out towards Lee Chin, but it's Waterford once again with possession. Gathering it here is Dara Fives, laying it off quickly, but Wexford growing, I would say, in confidence as the game progresses. This is dropping in, easy ball for Waterford keeper Stephen O'Keefe from Ballygunner. Drops it back down into the Wexford half of the field. Big battle there at number 3, Matthew O'Hanlon and Murray Shanahan, was going to be interesting. Alan Kelly, the referee, spots an infringement on Austin Gleeson, and it's going to be a free in for Waterford.
Yeah, held back, but I think the brick is sort of operating at full forward, and he's causing a few problems for Matthew O'Hanlon, you know, getting a flick down here and there, and you know, Gleeson quick onto the break there, reads it well. I don't know, do we see something off the ball there, Marty? I'm not too sure. Really get a view.
It seemed to be an off-the-ball incident, Anthony, involving Barry Coughlin, and I was just trying to keep an eye on it as the free is taken, and that is over the bar.
I presume it's Conor MacDonald and himself, I suppose, so if it's, they're up there on the 14 anyway.
Puck out from Mark Fanning. Again, it's aimed at Lee Chin. It's batted down for us, Jamie Barron. And once again, it's Austin Gleeson going forward. It takes lovely stick work. Hits it with the short grip straight between the posts. No matter where you play Austin Gleeson, he is simply a class act, and still under 21 this season.
Yeah, that's an incredible score, Marty. I suppose Cyril spoke about the innocence of youth maybe, but that's fantastic to watch, isn't it? Like leaving 3 Wexford guys in his wake, and off the hurley, you know, has really recovered and really doing well.
Puck out again is long, down towards David Dunn. Has to go back for Zena Martin. Aiming for Conor MacDonald, but Waterford have the situation well under control because there's plenty of bodies there. Take your choice of at least 5, not 6. Ball dropping into the middle. Knocked away on this occasion. Picked up again by Lee Chin, who's looking sharp. Has to go back first, his right half back, Dermot O'Keefe. Gets away from the first challenger. Sends it back into that couple of players. Going back to gather it is Barry Coughlin. Ball is cleared down the middle. Austin Gleeson has the time to control it. Let's fly. The slipper is heading straight to the right of the post. Looked initially, it really did look like it was going over the bar, but didn't quite make it.
Yeah, probably backing up everything that Cyril said before the match there, Matty, you know, because, you know, that was one he should have let in. They had a 2-on-2 inside, and Patrick Curran would be thanking him. Look, if they go over, you're a mighty man, but maybe the better option was to pop inside that time.
Alan Kelly, the referee, has halted. I think he's waiting for Hawkeye to see the double check. There it is. He's
maybe we've
recalled it again.
We're the big screen here today, Marty, as well.
Absolutely. Let's see what the result is. Almost 11 minutes played. Is Austin Gleeson shot over the bar or not? Here is Hawkeye in Simple Stadium, Thurles. And that ball is looking to be outside the post and wide. So the umpire was correct.
And a good call by Alan Kelly if he's not certain, you know, to use the technology. We have it here, we have the big screen. It does take a little bit longer than Croke Park, I must say, whether it's his internet coverage or what it is down there. No, it's just let that few seconds slower, and I think it builds a sort of anticipation in the crowd.
It looks like Dara Five seems to have picked up an injury, and it's Conor Gleeson that's on. He's another one of the young under-21 stars that will be playing in the Munster under-21 final in Walsh Park, Waterford on Wednesday evening against Tipperary. But Dara seems to be gone off, and Conor Gleeson, we think it could be a permanent substitution.
Yeah, it looked like it to me, Marty, with the helmet off and sat down, a very disappointed face, like so. Must have been carrying an injury coming in because he started well. 4
against 2, but the one of the 2 is Conor MacDonald. They surround him and the referee blows the whistle again. He is an exceptional talent. Is the Wexford full forward from the Naveana club in Gorey. He was outnumbered He could have been outmanoeuvred, and yet he put up the big left paw and gathered it.
Yeah, great catch, and they need him doing that, Marty Day. Like, I mean, he wasn't going so well, but you know, I really thought since Lee Chin came back into the team that he really has risen up with him. So, you know, for them to get a result here today or get something out of it, that they need him really at his best.
He scored 30 points in 3 championship matches so far, 22 of those from frees. He's outside the 20-metre line, as you can see, and he went for it, and it's deflected out for a 65. Well, surely the better option would have been to tap this over the bar, but Stephen O'Keefe put up his hurl. He probably did, to be fair to Conor MacDonald, but O'Keefe deflected it away.
Yeah, Marty, I think it was more of a miss hit. You know, I think, you know, there was no intent in his run up, or there was no power in the shot. But credit Stephen O'Keefe, like, although he'll have a chance now from the 65, but it's a lot more difficult than where he was hitting from originally, and you've got to really take care with those and make sure you get them when the chance presents itself.
Free going to be taken by Conor MacDonald. Still a Wexford under-21 player this year. Standing over this. He looks at the target, and the umpire has signalled wide. Now that's Wexford's second wide of the match, and it remains 6 points to 1. Let's go down to the sideline for to Donald O'Grady.
Yeah, I just noticed Marty there with Dara Files coming off. He seemed to have a quad injury, and I think they've strapped him up and put a bit of ice on it. But that's a very, very slow injury to heal, so he might not make it for the next fortnight if they win this game today.
Ball is just outside the D. Gathering is Patrick Kern, but Wexford get the free. There's a bit of pulling and dragging, as you can see. All unnecessary. That's Liam Ryan is the number 17, and there's a lot of unnecessary entanglement here. Nobody wanted to give way, and eventually the referee decides it. And as a result of all of this, it is a free for Wexford.
Yeah, Curran got possession and they surrounded him very well, and you know, swarm tackle, and then of course you had to kind of do the extras as well, you know. To say we just didn't win a free off, yeah, we did a bit more than that, so he didn't like that then, and a couple of his mates come to the rescue, of course, but nothing in it really.
Heading towards the 15th minute as Liam Dunn watches on. His team have only scored once in the opening 15 minutes. They need more, and quickly. Just 5 points adrift. Noel Connors bursting his way out as Waterford come forward. Diagonal ball into the middle. Runs on for Padraig Mahoney. In comes Jack O'Connor. There too is Owen Conroy. Waiting patiently is Brick Walsh. Brick Walsh picks it up. Hand passes it into the space. Jamie Barron is coming onto it. Barron flicks it forward, but there are plenty of Wexford defenders there. Comes back out towards Maurice Shanahan. Scored a point already. Turns onto his left. Let's fly, and that is going to the right and wide. Indeed, the umpire has signalled that he wants to double check it, so Hawkeye has been called for the second time.
Yeah, and it looked from here maybe that one was very hard to call because it was a very high shot from Morris. Maybe the umpire just not sure he's caught under the post, but probably wasn't the greatest option by Morris. Now if he gets the point, of course he's vindicated, but Patrick Curran was definitely loose at the far side. Maybe got his head up and spotted him.
Derek McGrath issuing instructions, explaining as Hawkeye is revealed. Now was it over the bar or is it outside the goalpost? It's a very close call, and it is a kneel. So it is a wide. It remains Waterford 6 points, Wexford 1. Short puck out this time. In the centre is Big Paddy Foley. Drops the ball down between the 45 and 65 metre line. Wonderful catch by Lee Chin, and on landing and terra firma lays it off very quickly for Liam McGovern. The whistle is blown and it is a free for the right half forward from St Anne's Club in South Wexford.
Yeah, they can badly do the score here. Now Conor MacDonald needs to get the radar in here and put it over. What a catch by Chin. You know, just incredible bravery the way he puts up, and Liam Og coming off his shoulder there, you know, gets the drag back, and they'll want to score. It's been a while since they scored now, they need to settle down. Liam
Dunn hoping that this will register their second score of the match. Conor MacDonald with his third free of the match. Lee Chin the only score for Wexford so far. He lifts this neatly and efficiently and hits it between the posts.
There's a nice win down there, Marty. It's not a massive win now. It wouldn't be a match-winning win, what I'd call, but you'd like to be a few points with it, having played with it going in the break, you know.
Ball comes down for Brick Walsh. Austin Gleeson was going forward at speed, but didn't gain any ground. Lee Chin is getting more involved. Ball comes out towards David Dunn, who's playing deep inside his own half back line at the moment. Ball on for Liam McGovern. McGovern flicking it back inside. Much better from Wexford. The return ball is for David Dunn. Can he score from a difficult enough angle? The umpire is going for his flag. That's a really, really good score by Wexford. Well created, well worked, and superbly finished.
Yeah, fantastic score by Dunn, Marty, and that's what I was talking about him. You know, he's pace, and every time he gets the ball, he puts it on the hurley and goes with it, and fans love to see that, and great excitement here with a score like that.
Dermot O'Keefe battling hard, but it's Waterford that have possession. Shane Bennett tries to make a little bit of space. Chasing after him is Jack O'Connor. Shane Bennett dropping this in, but this ball has been blown up for a foul as a result. Alan Kelly spotting an infringement, which is just inside the Wexford 45-metre line.
Yeah, and probably should be a score, and Jack O'Connor is protesting his innocence. I didn't see too much in it first time around. Now I suppose the replay will tell us more, but he just seemed to force him wide, but his name is being ticked as well now, so I suppose he'd want to watch it now, or it would be yellow would be the next move, and normally Pádraig Mahoney punishes these sort of chances.
Pádraig Mahoney going for his third point of the match, and that's easily achieved. Good to see him back playing after that horrendous injury last year. Former, of course, Harty and All-Ireland Colleges medalist with his school De La Salle 8 years ago in 2008, when Derek McGrath still is with his school team. Referee again spotting the infringement from Wexford, so it's a free for Waterford just inside their own 65-metre line, and again Pádraig Mahoney is going to take it.
Yeah, well within his range, Marty, from here, and again, like Kevin Moran seems to be operating on Lee Chin at this stage now, with Gleeson resuming the normal role he played behind, you know, so they have the extra cover there now, and are probably banking on Moran to get the better of Chin maybe.
The sun comes out from under the clouds as this ball is hit in, but the ball is wide. That is Waterford's fifth wide in this All-Ireland quarter-final, but they're still leading by 7 points to 3.
Liam Dunn will be happy enough all the same, Marty. You know, they haven't really been that much in the game, but they're hanging in there, and if they, you know, these 15 minutes now before half-time, absolutely massive for the course of the game.
Great puck out again from Mark Fanning. Kevin Moran is winning an awful lot of ball, clean ball in the middle of the field. Gives it down long. As Waterford go in search of more scores, and they're looking good here. Shane Bennett hitting a rasper, and that is over the bar. Good score by the centre half forward from Ballysaggart.
Yeah, great play by the two younger lads, Bennett and Curran, you know, and he certainly went for that, but just blazed it over, and you can see his reaction. He thought the goal was on, he was having a shot, but I think, you know, Derek will be happy enough to be taking the point in that situation.
Derek McGrath, 5th year in charge. As the puck out is third year in charge, I should say, as the ball is dropped out into the Waterford half the field, picked up by Conor MacDonald. Ball is dropping in, out comes Stephen O'Keefe, dealing with the situation comfortably. Out for his Pádraig Mahoney, who's obviously given a lot of freedom. He was named a full forward, and he's out around the half-back line midfield. Working hard is Patrick Kirk. Was Curran fouled? The referee said no. Away comes Matthew O'Hanlon. Ball is sent in. It's 3 against 2 in around the house. Ball breaks inside the cover. It's Conor Gleeson who's come on for Dara Fives. Gets the ball out. Waiting for it in the middle is Austin Gleeson, stepping past his own 65-metre line. Let's fly from the middle of the field, and that is again gone to the left and wide.
Yeah, and it can be frustrating at times, you know. He is a wizard, but you can see Derek and Dan down there holding their heads, and you know, they worked it well across field, and there was options on. I know you have to shoot to score, but at the same time, you know, with that wind at your back, you might be as well off to try and, you know, set it up inside. Shane Bennett does look dangerous inside.
Knocked down by Philip Mahoney, picked up by Harry Kehoe, back inside his own half back line, laying it back. There's Liam Ryan, but Again, Wexford have to work hard to get the ball outside their own half-back line as Waterford are chasing everything. Coming forward here is Conor Gleeson. Laying it off quickly for Jamie Barron. The referee says it's a free for the cornerback.
And that's
Water.
Yeah, it's a good win for him, Marty, as well, because, you know, out in front of McGovern there, and you know, he's only come on and he's won 2 good balls now, so, you know, it'd be good for his confidence now after coming off the bench.
Waterford goes short. The result is impressive. Straight between the posts and over the bar. Good work by Jamie Barron.
Yeah, very, very clever use of the ball. You know, not everyone expecting a long free. Liam Dunn will be very annoyed with his players about that. Like, you never take your eye off who you're meant to be on, and they all drifted back expecting the long one, and they went short, and Barron nailed it. A great score.
Puck out comes straight for Dermot O'Keefe. Rick Walsh chasing after. Hand pass inside is a good one. Comes for his own Conroy. And Conroy is fouled by Jamie Barron, and that's going to be a free for Wexford.
Yeah, mixing the bad and the good there, Marty. Jamie Barron. Owen Conroy was definitely off his feet when he met him with the shoulder, and I'd say he'd be going into the yellow card zone here, yeah, definitely. And it's not like, you know, before half time as well, you don't want to be picking up yellows, because any little mistake with a high hurley or anything like that after that could be very costly for your team.
So Jamie Barron on a yellow card following that challenge on Owen Conroy. And the resultant free going to be taken by Conor MacDonald. Going for his second point of the match. The umpires have a quick word. They're happy enough to raise the white flag.
Yeah, it's a good score. He's found his range now as well into the wind, and you know, 5-point game now, and a big 10-12 minutes now before half time, so you can tack on a few scores either side. It'll be massive.
Short puck out from Stephen O'Keefe for Shane Fives into the centre towards Clyde de Burka. Hit with strength and pace, but it hops nicely for Mark Fanning, who sends it back over towards Liam McGovern. Coming across is his opposite number 10, that's Kevin Warren. Giving it back for his Conor Gleeson. It's not a great pass, but Gleeson does well. Ball is sent back down into the middle of that Wexford defence. Good play by Owen Conroy, but the ball given away by Clyde de Burka. He's just outside the Wexford 65. He's stepping back. He's not looking too happy, and the result is that the ball is wide. The reason why.
Yeah, and it's just a bad wide there, Marty. I mean, he read the play superbly, loose enough hand pass from Owen Conroy, and de Burka stepped out from the sweeper role, you know, one possession. And yeah, the shot was on from there, but just bad execution from there, and frustration down the bench.
Puck out from Mark Fanning. He changes direction, comes down this side. Shane Fives gets a touch for us, Kevin Moore. Here comes Padraig Mahoney. Uses the short grip. There was never any doubt he was going to be hooked, and that's one of the finest points of this first half. 4 points for Padraig Mahoney, his first in play.
Yeah, again, Moore the instigator, you know, really savaging into the breaking ball, and scoops it onto Mahoney, and he's really the shooter. If you can get it to him, he'll do the damage with it.
Long puck out again from Mark Fanning. Picked up here by Shane Fives. Gives it back for Barry Coughlin. Waterford using the hand pass and using the short grip to lay it off for Patrick Curran. From way out the field, easy ball for Mark Fanning, who opts to go long rather than short to seek and find Liam McGovern, but the ball carried too much pace. Sideline ball for Waterford.
Yeah, he was actually very unlucky there, Marty. It was actually nearly a brilliant ball to set Liam Og off, but it just overcooked slightly, and now Gleeson's line balls are usually as good as frees in this situation.
Wexford are introducing a substitute as Owen Conroy is taken off and Ed Nolan is on. Andrew Kenny is the substitute that's on. As the ball comes back out towards the Waterford half-back line, and that sails to the right and wide. Yeah,
Austin has certainly, you know, he's had a few rash wides, no doubt. maybe it'll suit him a bit more in the second half, because he's on a lot of ball that he'll be definitely letting it in the second half when he's into the wind. But you know, they're just not floating over today. He got a great point on the run early, but after that it's been kind of, you know, it'll be squandering a lot of balls like that around the middle.
Chance here for Jack O'Connor. Great block down. Waterford have the possession again. Ends up with Philip Mahoney. Going forward at pace is Dermot O'Keefe. Has to try and win it. Fails on this occasion, but it comes back to him, luckily enough. Then he, in turn, is hooked by Pádraig Mahoney. Bit of a scramble on the Waterford 65-metre line. Ball comes back out into Waterford half of the field. Easy ball for Matthew O'Hanlon, the Wexford captain. Sends it into the space, but it carries again a little bit too much strength. And unfortunately, from a Wexford point of view, Éanna Martin unable to reach it. Sideline ball for Waterford. Unforced errors there for Wexford, just posing a few problems.
Yeah, it's kind of that sort of a game, Marty. You know, the wind is a factor, but Matthew O'Hanlon should be doing much better with that ball there. You know, he read it really well, was out in front of Maurice Shanahan, and then inexplicably, like, just puts it out over his man's head and gives away the line ball.
Ball is cut in. It's Andrew Kenny that's there for Wexford. Ball into the middle for his Lee Chin. About to be challenged by Pádraig Mahoney. Knew that it was coming, but managed to scrape a little bit of space and send the ball down into the Waterford half of the field. But Waterford first to the ball here. Dealing with it capably. Comes up first, Philip Mahoney. From way out the field on his own 65-metre line, it's dropping in and it's dropping wide. It's an unusual, in some ways, sort of game, isn't it, Anthony?
Yeah, it's disappointing overall so far, Marty. Waterford defensively very solid, I think, but their shot choice has been, to say the least, very, very poor at times. And again, you know, from Philip Mahoney there, that's, you know, mad distance to be shooting from. Try and work it up another bit and get it to the shooters, if you like.
Pádraig Mahoney gets it for his Kevin Moran. Reinforcements coming from the half back line. It's Austin Gleeson. Sinks this ball in, but again the finish is such a disappointment. And that's now 10 wides for Waterford in this opening half, and this is a factor that should surely be worrying this man, Derek McGrath.
Yeah, and you can see his frustration, and Dan is, you know, trying to get messages into them. But they are on top, Marty. That's he'll be happy enough that they're winning most of the battles. Moran again winning the free there in the middle. You know, they're getting onto that breaking ball. Moran has kind of gone back in front of Lee Chin as cover, and he has been very, very effective on that. And look, if they nailed one or two more, they could be out of sight, but they haven't done that.
Let's go down to the sideline for a sideline view from Donald O'Grady.
Yeah, and just watching the puck outs, Marty, there, and Wexford, when they go long, they're losing most of them, basically, and we just see one of the short puck outs that they had there. Mark Fanny knocked it out to the side, and they moved it back into the centre, and you know, at least there was options up the field, and then when Matthew O'Hanlon knocked it up, the result was you know, that they won that ball and they got a free, and I think they need to move the ball a lot shorter from the puck outs and try and get possession. They're losing most of the long puck outs.
Pádraig Mahoney going to take this free. Just a few metres inside his own 65-metre line. He hits it powerfully. But again, the result is the same. The umpire has been overworked at that end, I have to say, waving his arms. Because now Waterford have registered 11 wides in the opening 31 minutes.
And an awful lot of them to the left, Marty. Unusually, whatever way the wind is, it seems to be dragging the ball left from this side.
Lee Chin knocks it down, but picked up by Jamie Barron. He's already scored a point. He's going for a second. He steps away. The body language would suggest that he's well pleased. Good score.
Yeah, great.
The score to Waterford's lead.
Great score by Barron, and you know, makes the bit of ground. But Donald is right. They're being eaten on the long Wexford puckouts. Wexford can get no joy at all around the middle, and we see the big pocket here in front of us, Marty. You know, it's just no real way. Like, and they've bottled up Chin since they brought Moran back on him, and it's certainly working.
Short puck out goes for his own Moore. The ball given away for his tag to Burka under pressure from Jack O'Connor and Paul Morris. Consequently, he gets his free. Good work here by Tag de Burka.
Yeah, covered his line well, came across, you know, does what he does exceptionally, like young player of the year, all-star, you know, He's very effective. You know, probably plays a little bit for the free, and they're either letting Austin have a cut at this now to taking Torrick off the really long ones.
Austin Gleeson hitting this, but it's not anywhere close. And it's always the left-hand side.
It is. There's definitely, Marty, being down the pitch side, you know, beforehand there. You can, the wind is pulling away to that corner, you know, towards the newsstand side opposite us here, and fellas aren't allowing enough for that for sure.
Short puck out for us, Matthew O'Hanlon. Running on for us, Dermot O'Keefe. Working the ball up for us, midfield. Good work by Andrew Kenny. Feeds and finds Lee Chin. And that is sailing between the posts. Really good score for Wexford. It's Lee Chin's second point of the match.
Yeah, Martin, for once since Kevin Moran sat back in front of him, he got away from him, and he's their go-to guy, and that's a great score, and one they badly wanted at this stage.
Ball breaks inside Paddy Foley. Going back is Owen Moore. Waterford never ever giving up. This is Shane Bennett. Pulls the trigger and sends that over the crossbar for Shane Bennett's second point of the match.
Yeah, and they look threatening up there when they get it, Marty. Bennett definitely has the pace on his man, and you know, they're well on top in general play. They just, I suppose, they haven't put it quite away on the scoreboard yet.
Let's go back down to the sideline to Donald.
Yeah, Martin, I'm just behind the Waterford bench here, and they're encouraging Waterford to knock the ball into the inside forwards rather than be good taking pot shots. They're now about 12 wides, and Dan Shannon and Derek McGrath pushing their forwards to knock the ball in and take it from there.
Ball drops inside the large rectangle. Certainly the Waterford man looked fouled, and the referee has given Barry Coughlin the free.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a heavy challenge by Harry Keogh initially. He was brave, Coughlin. He's been a good full back for them since they moved him in there.
Stephen O'Keefe takes the free. Again, Matthew Hanlon goes up for it. But Waterford put the pressure on, cleared on this occasion by Paddy Foley. There's some off-the-ball activity going on inside the D. James McGrath, the linesman, has running in to make sure it stops immediately. And I'm sure we'll inform the referee, Alan Kelly, of what was happening. Maurice Shanahan is getting off the ground here.
Yeah, they just got tangled up from, I was kind of keeping an eye on it, to be honest with you, Marty. I think Graham knocked the ball away, and Morris was close by, and they bumped off each other, and then they decided to go rugby tackling each other. It'd probably be 2 yellows, I suppose, if he you know, he's taking advice from James McGrath, so he'd be calling the two of them aside, and 2 yellows. I don't know if he's calling Matthew, but he's definitely calling Morris anyway.
Maurice Shanahan being spoken to. A yellow card for Maurice Shanahan.
Yeah, maybe he.
1 yellow card.
Yeah, maybe he initiated it though, and maybe that's what James McGrath said. You know, that he made the first move to drag Matthew O'Hanlon down. So I suppose there's as much Matthew O'Hanlon could do once he was down the ground, like with Morris on top of you. He's a fair unit.
Ball is cut in by Austin Gleeson. Comes back first, Kevin Moran from Patrick Kirk. Owen Moore is fouled. Although Lee Chin had won the possession, no advantage given. Free to Wexford.
Yeah, Owen Moore playing very well at cornerback. I've been impressed with him so far. He's really willing to attack the ball, and you know, just getting out in front and forcing Shane Bennett into the foul, and he picks up a yellow. So a few Waterford lads just got to be careful at this stage.
That's 3 yellow cards to Waterford. Jamie Barron, Maurice Shanahan and Shane Bennett. As Owen Moore from Alot the Balloch takes the free, drops outside the D. Again, Wexford chasing everything. Good work here by David Dunn. Lays it back for Jack O'Connor, but the pace on the pass was a little bit weak. Good work in turn by Noel Connors, giving it over. And Waterford come away with it. Long ball coming from Jamie Barron. And wonderful work by Matthew O'Hanlon. Captain showing leadership. Gives the quick ball, and the ball is dropping in, and Tadhg Burke is there once more. Good defending. Laying it back is Philip Manning. Gone to gather it is Conor Gleeson. Sending the ball straight down the middle. Kevin Moore gathers it at the second attempt. Moran goes for the score from way out the field. But again, the ball is to the right and wide. That's 13 wides for Waterford in the first half. They do have wind advantage, and I know what they were trying to do to use it to its maximum, but some of the shooting was way too far out.
Yeah, it's an incredible tally, Marty, for 35 minutes hurling, 12 points scored and 13 wides. It could be up on 18, 19 very easily if a small percentage even had gone over. So they'll be frustrated. I still think they'll be comfortable enough playing into the wind, but you never know in hurling. A team can get a chance and you see Wexford hitting away, but a team can get a chance and get a goal, and it can turn it right around all of a sudden.
And Wexford's Andrew Kenny sending that just to the wrong side of the post. Stephen O'Keefe takes the puck out. Again, it goes for distance, dropping into the Wexford D area, going down bravely. Here's Liam Ryan, and the referee, Alan Kelly, blows the half-time whistle. Unusual first half, I have to say. Lots of shooting from way out the field. There is a strong breeze there. Maurice Shanahan having a word with the referee, Alan Kelly, trying to get a full explanation, more detail of why he got a yellow card, having got an entanglement with Matthew O'Hanlon. But Waterford, the better team in the opening half, it must be said. And although in terms of wides, Wexford have registered just 3, Waterford have registered 13, but at half-time on the scoreboard, that's the most important statistic, it's Waterford 12 points, Wexford 5. An intriguing contest, but no doubt Wexford will feel, and Liam Dunn will feel, that they can come back into the second half. Let's go down to the sideline and join Carl McNamara.
Dan, you must be reasonably happy, obviously, with that 7-point lead.
You would be fairly happy, Claire, I suppose, but a lot of wides there in the first half, so I think we should be more ahead, to be honest with you. But look, we're leading. If we win the next half, we win the match. That's what they're all about today, is getting through today. But Wexford are going to come with force now in the second half with the win and stuff, but if we can take our chances in the second half, please God, we get a bit luck and get the right result.
Yeah, 13 wides. Did you find that breeze a bit awkward?
Shouldn't be, to be honest with you, Claire. They're inter-county hurlers, to be honest, but it's tough going alright with the breeze. Like, sometimes it works with you and sometimes it works against you, but 13 wides is a fair amount, but we're still winning by 7,
Thanks for talking to us, Dan.
Thanks very much.
7 points between the teams at the break. Certainly plenty to talk about, so don't go away. We'll be right back after the break.
Half-time in this hurling championship quarter-final, and of course Waterford leading Wexford by 12 points to 5. Now, in just a few minutes here on the programme, there's another chance for you to enter our Sunday game competition. There is a trip to Abu Dhabi on offer, but here with me in studio at the moment, Sherlock Nan, Liam Sheedy and Cyril Farrell. We were going into this day, Liam, talking about the fact that, we needed a couple of good games, boost up the championship and so on. What we've seen so far, I'm afraid, hasn't kind of enlivened anything.
Yeah, look, it's probably more about what hasn't been done in terms of the misses. For Waterford, they played with the breeze. They got the start they wanted, 6 points to 1 up after 10 minutes. Everything looked to be going according to plan. But to think that they've converted 12 of the 31 chances they've created in the first half, they should be completely out of sight in this game. And they've left Wexford in the game because there is a nice breeze in it, but at the same time, apart from Lee Chin, he's probably the only person in the Wexford team that's really tried to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. So it's a big next 10-15 minutes at the start of the second half, but you'd have to say disappointing in that first half with the level of fear that we've seen.
And I think what would really worry Waterford fans at this stage, Cyril, is that they did the same thing against Tipperary in the Munster final a couple of weeks ago. Now, Tip, obviously, a better side on the day, but nonetheless, they didn't take the opportunities in that first half.
They didn't, Michael. I know Derek McGrath are very disappointed. But the thing is, they're still playing a lot better. They're lording the midfield, and they're getting scores. When they've missed the turbo lot, they've got great scores from outside. They're playing the ball around short. That's their game, and then shoot from outside because there is actually no one in there. Now, when they go over, it looks perfect. When they go wide, it's you're pulling the hair out of your head.
See it here. That Austin Deason should have banged that ball over the bench. loads of time. He actually went into traffic, carried the ball in, and ended up striking the right. Now look, Pádraig Mahoney normally from place balls, he's very, very accurate. But again today, you know, they haven't really had that normal level of accuracy they've had, and a lot of them have gone wide on the same side. So you know, really, they should be out of sight. I tell you, whatever team they play, if they do get through, the day they hit them all over the bar, it's got to help the opposition because I mean, 31 scoring chances in the first half is unbelievable.
We've seen, Ger, what Waterford did wrong there, the whys they've got, but you want to illustrate for us why they're doing this.
Well, yeah, you see that Tony Brown before the game said they had to dominate in the air. That's what they're doing. Now look at Kevin Moran here. He gets the ball, and you say, God, what are you shooting from that distance from? But you can see why he's shooting from that distance because simply inside the 50-yard line, there is the Waterford player to hit the ball to. You know, and this is, you know, the Achilles heel of this system of play. You know, for a time they're playing one full forward the whole time. They have the wind, very like the Munster final. They're playing with one full forward. Paddy Foley standing outside him. So you have no target man, really. You know, so they need to get a goal threat. We have no goal threat at either side, but a team that's as dominant as that, you know, needs to be creating goal chances if they want to win something. You know, you'll beat Wexford, but you won't win in All-Ireland playing like that.
But they are playing much better than they're dominating midfield and they're getting other chances. You know what I mean?
No questions, Al, but you must be creating better goal chances than that.
All right, we are headed for another break here on the programme in just a minute. But before that, we are offering you the chance to jet away to Abu Dhabi and here.
Welcome back to the second half of this All-Ireland Hurling Championship quarter-final. The game just started and Wexford go into the attack immediately with a long ball from Éanna Martin, which has gone to the left and wide. It's like, here we go again, part two.
I hope we're not going to have another 35 minutes of this, Marty, because, you know, another rash one from Éanna Martin there right from the get-go instead of feeding it into MacDonald.
Puck out again. Kevin Moran is underneath it as Waterford go forward with Philip Mahoney playing against the breeze in this second half. Comes out first, Pádraig Mahoney. Mahoney floating this one in. Is it inside the post? The umpire is going for the flag. His 5th point of the match. An impressive, very impressive score by the young fella from Ballygunner.
Yeah, and that's the way to go, Martin. I think actually, perversely enough, playing into the wind might suit Waterford better because that was a very well-worked score. Philip Mahoney to Gleeson, back to Pádraig. And as we said earlier, he's the go-to guy for the shooting.
And he has it once more. Ball into the middle. Far as Austin Gleeson saw that the challenge was coming, and let's fly again from 65 metres out, but the ball is to the right and, well, not quite, stays in. Now the umpire puts up his arms and says the ball is wide, and still the umpire is waving his arms, but the ball is down with Tadhg de Burca. The referee has to spot it. The referee now blows his whistle. He's been informed that the ball was gone out over the end line and wide. So it's another puck out for Mark Fanning.
Yeah, the beauty of the all-year pieces, I suppose, Marty. Someone told him to go back.
Modern technology.
Absolutely.
Mark Fanning, regular keeper for a number of years, lost his place to Conor O'Leary when Wexford faced Dublin early in the championship, but has regained it in the games against Offaly. And there's a chance here, perhaps, that the ball is pushed back. It's a throw ball, in fact, and that's going to be a free out for Waterford. As I was saying about the Wexford goalkeeper, Mark Fanning, he's taken over for the games against Offaly, Cork, and now against Waterford, re-establishing himself as first-choice keeper. Yeah. Throw ball there as we watch the replay.
He's done really well. It was Shane Fives going back towards his own goal, and I think Alan Kelly getting the benefit of the doubt that his arm was being held, so they get the free out and a chance to launch an attack.
Stephen O'Keefe takes the free, runs on all the way back to the inner line, and to Kenny, dropping it down. Oh, great catch, almost by Barry Coughlin, in the sense that it looked like they had it momentarily. Stephen O'Keefe tries to bat it out. Tadhg de Burca is there. Wexford put the pressure on. There's a scramble inside the large rectangle. The ball is still available. The referee is arriving, but it's Wexford that have it. There's a chance here for MacDonald. He turns, shoots, and hits it wide. But that was a close one. Very close from a Waterford perspective.
Stephen O'Keefe, like one of the best keepers in the country, Marty, without a doubt, but sometimes when he comes off his line, he's prone to do the odd, mad thing at times, and I think Wexford very alert to that and blocked him down on the short pass, and lucky, very lucky not to concede a goal, and then missed the point as well then from Conor MacDonald. So a let off for Waterford big time.
Sideline ball going to be taken in front of us here. Kevin Moran handing the slither to Austin Gleeson. All-Ireland minor medalist 3 years ago. Giving it short to his team captain, Kevin Moran. Coming in to challenge, it's Paul Morris. Good ball, out for Austin. Lovely stick work, it's Gleeson and it's over the bar. It's his second point of the match, and you're not going to get any better in the championship than that.
Yeah, fantastic score, fantastic link up play between Moran and Gleeson, and I'd say, look, at half-time, Marty, there was a serious chat about the way we'll walk the ball up the field and moving off the shoulder for each other and support play and moving into the scoring positions, and we've seen that immediately from the get-go of the second half.
Wonderful score. He'll be playing in the under-21 Munster final on Wednesday evening in Walsh Park against Tipperary. Owen Moore getting a yellow card there just off camera a moment ago as Waterford find themselves under pressure again from Mark Fanning's puck out. Lee Chin is battling hard for it. Wexford giving it everything. Over far is Andrew Kenny. There too is Liam McGovern. Kevin Moran is hovering. Back far is Philip Manning. Lovely little pickup. Good work again by Andrew Kenny. Gives it out to the space. Comes over for his Dermot O'Keefe. Dermot O'Keefe tries from way out the field, and the result is still the same. It is a wide ball. 6 wides for Wexford, 14 wides for Waterford.
Yeah, and huge frustration for Liam Dunn, I'd say, and Ger Cush down under us here because, you know, they worked that very well across to O'Keefe, and an easy scoring chance with the wind, and just badly pulled again to the left.
Conor Gleeson gets it down for Shane Bennett. Good block down comes for Jack O'Connor. It's 1-against-1 long ball up for Harry Kehoe. Goalkeeper Stephen O'Keefe thought about coming off his line, has now got retreated. Picked up here by Noel Connors. Flicks it forward into the middle as Waterford build from the back. Ball down the middle towards Maurice Shanahan. Nice turn, getting away from Matthew O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon tries to put a hand in him. Still nice stick work again by Maurice Shanahan. He's heading towards the 20. Coming in from the other angle that he started off on, and that is a brilliant score by Maurice Shanahan. It's his second point of the match. But there are 2 classy scores we've seen from the Dacia. First by Austin Gleeson, and now this one by Maurice Shanahan.
Yeah, and both struck from inside the 21. An amazing run from Morris there. You weren't too sure where he was going. That's the earlier Owen Moore yellow card for the chop across Austin Gleeson. But Matthew O'Hanlon, to be fair to him, has nearly had the better of it with Morris so far in the game. But amazing run there, and finishes up with a great score.
Superb point by Maurice Shanahan and Austin Gleeson, and as you saw in that replay as well, the reason why Owen Moore got a yellow card for that chop down on Austin Gleeson. Contact lens problems for the Wexford man. Liam Dunn and his management team looking on anxiously as Dermot O'Keefe from St Anne's Club is checked out by the medical team. His father Noel is actually vice chairman of the Wexford County Board. He can play anywhere actually. He played midfield the last time I saw him play a few years ago. He's a primary school teacher in County Meath. Puck out comes from Mark Fanning, dropping it down towards Lee Chin. Knocked away on this occasion. There's plenty there to pick it up. One of them is Porrick Mahoney, playing deep inside his own half of the field now. Hits it off David Dunn. Sideline ball, and it's going towards Waterford.
I actually think he knew what he was doing there, Marty. He was kind of bottled up, and he said the worst that can happen is it'll either pass him out or it'll hop off his leg, and I think he got that, and he has the line ball now to relieve the pressure.
Tadhg de Burka from Clashmore. West Waterford taking the sideline cut. Picked up here by Paul Morris. Flicking it forward, coming forward in pace is Liam Ryan, and that ball is sneaking inside the post and over the bar. Good score by the cornerback who's replaced James Breen, who's been ill all week, but certainly earning his spurs here, Liam Ryan, with a fine point.
Yeah, and has been out for a long time with an injury, Marty, and a huge loss to Wexford. I mean, one of their stars of their 3 Leinster under-21s in a row, and Liam Dunn will be, it's great for them to see him back on the field, but they need more of that at this stage because Waterford are well on top around the middle of the field.
Shane Fives twists and turns and sends it down the wing, but Wexford regain the possession through Paddy Foley. Foley goes for distance, trying to knock it out. Well won by Conor MacDonald. Gets a little bit of space for himself and sends this straight over the crossbar. Good play, Conor MacDonald.
Yeah, brilliant play by McDonald. Like, that's some skill to be able to go down, up, flick that ball. He knew exactly what he was doing, flicked it down to himself, reacted and over the bar, and just a bit of a buzz now on the ground, and the Wexford crowd starting to lift up behind him, and if they could tack on the next score or two, you'd never know what would happen.
Just light rain falling here now in Semple Stadium as Austin Gleeson puts the ball in and gets the return, heading towards the corner flag, but he has the situation under control. Good ball into the middle towards Shane Bennett. There's a little touch. Matthew Hanlon is struggling to try and regain composure. He's there battling hard with Maurice Shanahan. Ball is scrambling. Who has it? Exactly. It's Owen Moore that seems to have it, and then Moore wins the battle. Good play by the Wexford full back line.
It was, because it was a dangerous ball across from Gleeson. Tried to ping it, I'd say, to Morris, but Shane Bennett thought it was for him, and he intercepted it, and that probably messed it up in him in some ways, because I'd say Morris was ready to let it come all the way to him, and he was about to attack, but the Wexford full back line did very well. They know Moore, very tenacious. O'Hanlon as well. They've held up their end of the bargain very well for Liam Dunside.
As you saw just there on your television screen, Nicky Kerwin on for Harry Kehoe, change in the Wexford half forward line, picked up here by Philip Mahoney, gives it back to his keeper Stephen O'Keefe, sends it down the other wing. Going forward is Jack O'Connor, who's never given up. David Dunn just unable to keep it from going out over the sideline ball for Waterford. Kevin Moran was hoping to take it quickly, but instead it's going to be Austin Gleeson is going to take this.
Yeah, Liam Dunn, Marty, electing to operate all the time with Paddy Foley as the sweeper. Jim O'Keefe sitting deep in midfield to allow him to drop back. And I wonder at what stage, do you say, we're chasing this, we're 8 points down here, we need to go after it. So it'll be interesting to see whether they'll make that move in the next few minutes.
Poor sideline cut by Austin Gleeson. David Dunn whipping by 3 defenders. He's taken down, and that's going to be a free for Wexford, and a yellow card as well for Shane Fives, I would suggest, as Dunn came in here. It was a chop down, I would suggest.
Yeah, no doubt. He's complaining, but I don't think he can have too many complaints, Marty, from where we can see it. And David Dunn was just about to jink past him, and the hurley certainly chopped down across him, so a yellow card. And as we said earlier, a number of them have to be careful now on the run-in.
Conor MacDonald going to take this. Just outside the Waterford 45-metre line. Every opportunity crucial to Wexford when you're trailing by 15 points to 7. He concentrated fully, the radar was working. He'll be well pleased. It's his 4th point of the match.
Yeah, and it's back to 7, Marty. They have the win. There's Brian Cody. He'll be playing the winners, so he's here for a look, and I suppose possibly studying the Waterford system, but that's not a done deal at all yet, and a good bit to go, and a bit of a sense around the place now that the Waterford crowd are getting behind their team.
And here come Wexford once more. 2 against 2 here. Good defending on this occasion. There's Noel Connors. Gets it from Owen Moore. Ball is loose and available again. Philip Mahoney looking around to see if Stephen O'Keefe wanted it. The answer was affirmative. And O'Keefe relieves the pressure by switching the play over to the far wing. Kevin Moran going up for it. Andrew Kenny backing hard. David Dunn picking it up, giving it back to Andrew Kenny. Kenny flicking it back, and that seemed to go off a Waterford defender, and that's a sideline ball for Wexford.
Yeah, David Dunn is becoming more prominent, and just signs that maybe they could have a chance down the run-in, Marty. And you still would say Waterford are the most dominant team, but there's certainly the last few minutes there's good signs for Wexford.
And Dermot O'Keefe, the initial challenge. Nice stick work by the wing back, sweeping this in towards the goals, but again the ball is wide. 7 wide for Wexford, 14 for Waterford, 15 points to 8 on the scoreboard, and still Wexford's hopes and dreams are still alive.
They possibly need Conor MacDonald maybe to grab one, to maybe let 1 or 2 in the round and hope that he fetches one, or the bit of skill we saw off him earlier, and get on to the end of it and raise the green flag, and that would really turn it around.
Shane Bennett battling hard here, picked up by Paul Manny. There's a Wexford man down injured. Referee Alan Kelly has blown the whistle. He's indicated that Wexford. immediate attention. And it's Owen Moore that is in a little bit of bother here.
Yeah, it looks to be a knee injury. And he goes high, he goes up over Austin Gleeson, and just the way he landed again, I suppose it's that dreaded landing, like when the knee twists. When your body weight goes over on the knee, that's all the physios will tell you that, and Owen is definitely in pain, as we can see.
There's such a long list of injuries in Wexford over the last number of weeks. They're in double-digit figures. I was in Wexford on Monday, and the real story is the number of players unavailable, and the players who have come into this team have grabbed their opportunity and really done very well against Cork and Offaly. They're facing a big challenge here. They're facing one of the top 4 teams in the country, and here comes unfortunately another injury, because you can see that Owen Moore is in pain here. Waterford grabbed the opportunity to make a substitution. Maurice Shanahan has gone off, and it looks like Jake Dillon is the player that's on.
It's Jake Dillon, Marty. Yeah, he's gone in there. Maybe a change of plan on Matthew O'Hanlon, who Morris got a couple of very good scores, but overall I suppose Matthew has been really the boss in there, so they're making that move now. And Jake, different type of player, smaller, but very nippy and a great finisher, and real concern for Owen Moore here, and terrible to see this. It's what we all dread in days like this,
when you see the stretcher coming out.
Absolutely. So a young player really playing well, and the last thing you want to see.
Owen Moore has been first choice cornerback for a number of seasons from the great club all at the Balloch. And you can see that there's ice, I think, being applied there to the ankle. Been real stalwart of Liam Dunn's side over the last number of seasons. Scored a point from a 65 against Dublin, and a point against Cork as well. And he is in some pain. We wish him a speedy recovery. But he's another loss to Liam Dunn on a long line of injuries over the spring and summer.
Yeah, and I mean, great credit to Liam for the way he has turned the season around with the players and his backup staff, because to be honest, the first round in Leinster against Dublin, I just thought they were probably rudderless, to be honest. And in fairness, they got together and they pulled the strings and they fought their way back, and a good win against Offaly at home, followed by a great win against Cork. And if they could finish this match strongly, the season will have been relatively turned around for them.
Simon Donoghue is the player that's been chosen to replace Owen Moore from the Shelmaliers club. As the ball comes back, fires Philip Mahoney, sent across, dangerous ball, out comes Paddy Foley. Ball becomes loose and available again as Wexford find themselves under severe pressure. Immediately it's Simon Donoghue who's just been introduced. Going forward here is Jake Dillon, looking around for the support. Back outside is Kevin Moran, floating this one in, 1 against 1. Shane Bennett chases after it. Bennett lays it back for us, Jamie Barron. Wexford have the sliotar once more. This is Paddy Foley battling his way out, and the referee allows the advantage as the rain begins to pour down. Long ball, Tyke de Burka acting there as the sweeper, knocks it down initially. Coming forward is Lee Chin, trying to regain possession. Good work by Conor Gleeson, hand passes it out. As Waterford retain possession, Noel Connors looking to deliver it somewhere. Fires Tyke de Burka. Tyke de Burka pulls the brakes, then goes forward at pace. Still Tyke de Burka, former Young Hurler of the Year, drops it into the middle. Trying to grab it here is Kevin Moran, using that famous Cato, that left hand. Manages to balance it nicely. Going forward again is Jamie Barron as the rain pours down. Jamie Barron facing the wind and the rain. Lovely stick work, trying to head in past that Wexford defence. Gives it back, first time to Burka. Burka drops it the first time, but gathers it the second time. Uses the short grip, and the ball is gone to the right and wide after all of that.
Yeah, long passage, Marty. To be finished with a wide like that,
15 wides for Waterford in this match. Let's go down to the sideline to Donald Grady.
Yeah, Marty, and with the substitution of Jake Dillon, I think that Waterford playing into the driving way now. I think that they're going to move the ball short and hopefully run at the Wexford defence with Maurice Shanahan being replaced by Jake Dillon.
Éanna Martin sends this in, and Éanna Martin scores a point. Fine point as Wexford play with wind and rain now to their backs. for the remaining 17 minutes.
Yeah, great score by Anna Martin, just what they needed, and they've been chipping away, and Waterford have been finding it very hard to make any inroads with regards to getting scores at the other end. Just don't have enough guys up, so you never know what's going to happen down the stretch here. The tails are up for Wexford for sure.
Anna Martin caught a wonderful sliotar, was then subsequently pulled back, it would seem, by the indication of referee Alan Kelly, and that is a free for Wexford.
Yeah, Conor MacDonald punched the air there when he won that free, but Conor has the owner's task now, putting the free over the bar, as you said, with wind and rain, Marty. Okay, it's at its back, but it's not a gimme by any means, but it'll be one that'll be needed if they're going to get the job done today. Ticking to 16 minutes to go, bring it back to 5. Anything can really happen at that stage.
A young man, Conor MacDonald from Naveana in Gorey in County Wexford, played senior back in 2014 when he was still a minor. He's certainly one of the young, bright stars in the world of hurling. Conor MacDonald loading this one in, and the umpire is satisfied. It's over the bar. Good score from way out the field.
Yeah, great score, Mark, because there was pressure on that shot. You know, I mean, that's a crucial free now. The place is buzzing, and look, if the Wexford fans are really up behind their team at this stage.
Coming onto the field is Brian O'Halloran, and he gets a welcome to the championship as well. Simon Donoghue's just introduced about 5 minutes before him. He's part of the welcoming party.
He's getting into the intensity very quick.
5 points between the teams. It was 7 at the break. Waterford 12, Wexford 5. It's now, as you see on your television screen, Waterford 15, Wexford 10. Waterford's last score was 15 minutes ago. They're back into the attack here. Chasing after it is Jake Dillon. Backpedaling is Paddy Foley. Wexford's heart and spirit to the core here. Matthew Hanlon trying to get away with it. Jake Dillon hits the ground. No free given. Simon Donoghue looks around under pressure from Shane Bennett. Still, good work by the corner forward, or corner back I should say, as Wexford respond. Ball down, Paris tied to Burko, acting as that sweeper, under no pressure. Lays it quickly up past Philip Mahoney. Philip Mahoney turns the corner, sends it into the middle. Nice stick work here by his brother. Horrig sends it up inside the Wexford 45-metre line, but Wexford beginning to believe in themselves, I would suggest, in this match. They're chasing everything. They realise with wind and rain advantage they can put pressure on the Munster finalists. Good work here by Shane Fobbs. Fully established as the first choice cornerback. Where's Jamie Barr, who scored 2 points in this match? Ball into the space to Michael Brick-Walsh. Coming across is Paddy Foley. Big man from Crossabeg, Ballymore. Very near Wexford town, in fact very near Ferry Carrick. Ball into the space. Ball chasing. After this is Paul Morris. Breaking ball is crucial here. And again, Waterford anticipate. Boyd Mahoney. Backfire's tied to Burka. Burka sends it down the wing, but the ball has gone out over the sideline. Sideline ball to Wexford. And the crowd getting behind.
That's
the
it,
Wexford team.
and there's no doubt about it. Waterford's play has gone ragged, and maybe we wondered, would there be a little hangover from the Munster final? Maybe that's coming to surface now, and they are getting a bit anxious all around the stadium, and you can see Big Dan down there, and he's urging them on and trying to, if they could get a score at all, it would resettle them, but it's Wexford doing all the pressing at the moment.
Jack O'Connor, really good sideline cut and tied to Burkett. That was a clean. Flicks it back for Stephen O'Keefe. He sends it over towards Kevin Moore. Moore about to be tackled by Conor MacDonald. Sends it down that wing. Michael Brick-Walsh has to go back to collect. Putting in the challenge again. Liam Ryan. Brick twisting, turning. Ball into the space. Mark Fanning has to come off his line to gather cleanly. Gets by the initial challenge. Gets by Jake Dillon. Steps away and lets fly. Much better for Wexford, and the Slaney Siders roar. The purple and gold are on the attack here. Waterford under the cosh, a little bit of pressure here. The hard-working Conor Gleeson is the player that's down on his knees. The referee is coming in to see what will happen, and the referee is still not sure, but he's blown his whistle. He's given a sideline ball, I think, as a result of Stephen O'Keefe's clearance out over the sideline.
I'd say he's going to throw it in there, Marty, because he definitely had whistled up before Stephen O'Keefe lettered it out of play. Yeah, he's going to throw it in.
Throw ball. Thrown in. Paul Morris gathering in Noel Connors, who manages to get it past Philip Mahoney. Mahoney sends it down. Throws Brian O'Halloran. Simon Donoghue with him. Ball in on the hurl of O'Halloran, and away he goes. Under the conditions, very skillful. needs a little bit of support. He turns into the inside track and he sends it between the posts. Very, very impressive play by Brian O'Halloran.
Yeah, and in the context of the way this game has been going, that's a fantastic score by Brian O'Halloran. Really, you know, put on the afterburners there and just took off, and what pace he has. And even though Austin Gleeson was loose at the far side, he took responsibility, a massive score.
Wonderful puck out, wonderful catch by Conor MacDonald, but the 1-2 just didn't make it 1-2-3. Ball has gone wide, and that is Wexford's 8th wide of the match. 6 points again between the teams.
Yeah, an interesting Lee Chin operating on the edge of the square now inside the top of Barry Coughlin, so they're probably brought MacDonald to centre and hoping that Chin can get his hand on one high one and maybe, you know, get the goal that would really ignite the challenge. Points, it's a long way back still, and points with 6 in it.
Liam Ryan just leaving it behind him, but Wexford have it once more. For Simon Donoghue. Hurley is broken in two. There's a Nash flying through into the Waterford half of the field, but the slither is gathered by Jake Dillon. He sends it down the wing. Kevin Moran trying to get away from the challenge here of O'Hanlon, and that is a free in for Waterford. Matthew O'Hanlon pleading his innocence, saying he wasn't fouling his opponent, his fellow captain, Kevin Moran.
But Moran using all his experience, Matthew, to, you know, just engineer a free, if you like, there, because he seemed to have nowhere to go. Matthew O'Hanlon had him and he burrowed his way into him. Some refs may not have given it, but Alan Kelly decided he was being impeded, so that's a crucial free now. And if Mahoney could nail this, it would be pushing it out to 7 again, and that would be a massive lead at this stage.
The Bennett brothers involved in that latest substitution. Shane Bennett replaced by his brother Stephen. As Mahoney takes the fray, and it's gone just inside the post and over the bar. Good score. Difficult angle. Just squeezed it in. Enough to give this man and his team a 7-point advantage. 10 minutes left in this All-Ireland quarter-final. Will it be Waterford going through to an All-Ireland semi-final? More than likely against Kilkenny. As the ball drops in, is there a touch? Ball comes loose and available. Good defending by Waterford on this occasion. Conor Gleeson doing the vacuuming up. And again, Waterford come forward with Austin Gleeson. Perhaps taking too much out of it, but on the other hand, look at that for skill. Oh, beautiful. Can he keep going? He's gone all the way. Still Austin Gleeson taken down, and that's a free in for Waterford. But what a scintillating run by the young man from Mount Sion in Waterford City.
Absolutely brilliant party that has the stadium on its feet here in Thurles. Eventually had to be dragged down by Ian Martin because he was bearing down a goal at that stage, but what distance he made. I mean, he received a hand pass from his namesake Conor Gleeson back inside around the 21-yard line, and he's eventually fouled on the D outside the Wexford 21. It's a match-defining moment, I'd say. A massive run.
Derek.
Austin Gleeson getting some attention as we watch Pádraig Mahoney take the fray. Going for a 7-point of the match, and that's over the bar. But just when Waterford needed a bit of guts, a bit of courage, a bit of leadership, it was Austin Gleeson that came forward. And when you have a free taker like Pádraig Mahoney, it's a very good combination.
For sure, Marty. And like that initially came from a great ball in from Wexford, right on the edge of the square. Barry Coughlin did very well to get his hurley to it above Lee Chin. Conor Gleeson picked up the breaking ball, popped it to Austin, and what a run, and that's a massive turning point in a game like this.
Tyg de Burka underneath this, but again it's snapped up by Conor MacDonald. Seeking a goal, Lee Chin, the edge of the square, big mark by Barry Coughlin on this occasion, and Waterford deal with it. Over fires Kevin Moore. Not the time to gather it. Second time, a little shimmy, and away he goes. He chased by Lee Chin. Over fires Jake Dillon, cutting into the middle. No free given. Still Jake Dillon on the ground and battling hard. So too is Paul Morris. Great blocked down by the fullback Matthew O'Hanlon, and that is a sideline ball for Waterford. You have to admire Wexford's determination, but the clock is ticking towards 70 minutes and they're 8 points behind. Dan Shannon and Derek McGrath man the sideline. They feel that they're almost there, and perhaps that spell where They seem to be losing it a small bit. They just seem to lose concentration. They're now fully focused again.
Yeah, like Waterford did get it back to 5 very well. Marty, battled really hard, and it was a crucial couple of minutes then. And in fairness to Waterford, Brian O'Halloran's score, I think, was the absolute massive score of the game, followed by Gleason's run. And Brian O'Halloran, another great chance here.
There's a chance of another white flag to be raised, but the ball is wide. Waterford players were thinking about Hawkeye, but the referee or the umpires are having none of it. 8 points between the teams. Just about 7 minutes left in this All-Ireland quarter-final. As Wexford introduce a substitute, Aidan Nolan is coming on, and Paul Morris is the one that's making way. Sideline ball again. Shane Fives thought about taking it, but he's not now. The injury to Owen Moore. Glad to see he's not as much pain as he was when he was leaving the pitch, and we wish him a speedy recovery. Cut in by Jamie Barron. Comes as far as Jake Dillon. He's in front of the stand. He's looking at the goalpost and he's splitting them with the slipper. Great play, Jake Dillon. Really sending out a signal to his manager, Derek McGrath, that in the All-Ireland semi-final he wants to start.
Absolutely great score off his left, Marty. Took a few steps to settle himself, and very good finish right in front of his management, as you said, and giving out the message that in 2 weeks' time, when they take on Kilkenny, it looks like now for certain that he wants to be out there.
Corey Bahany laying it off. And once again, it's Brian O'Halloran who's also anxious to impress his manager as that ball hits off the post and goes over the crossbar. It's the second point of the match since being introduced, and the momentum has swung back in Waterford's favour.
It has, Marty, and it's game, set and match now, I think, all right, but there was a brief window for Wexford there if a goal had come, but the big guns for Waterford have stood up again, and it was none more so than Moore, and there again a massive catch when they really wanted him to.
Philip Mahoney sending it down the sideline, or far side. Matthew O'Hanlon is there giving it back. There's Andrew Kenny, gathered here on this occasion by Jamie Barron. And Waterford certainly have reasserted themselves calmly. A wonderful run by Austin Gleason, the points by Brian O'Halloran, and Jake Dillon's there a moment ago, re-establishing a 10-point advantage.
Yeah, and they'll be delighted, Marty, because people would have questioned what would the response be from a 21-point beating in the Munster final in 2 weeks, and it's emphatic enough, really. Okay, their shooting was well off in the first half. I think Liam Sheedy might have referred to it at half-time, like if they can get that radar right someday, and Derek will certainly be hoping it'll be in 2 weeks' time.
Jake O'Connor sending this ball in. Waterford again have the situation in control. It comes far as Conor MacDonald, but Waterford coming forward at pace, trying to set up yet again another Waterford attack. This is Stephen Bennett that's chasing after it. Comes far as Paddy Foley. Foley into the middle. And the ball swept down the field on this occasion by Liam Ryan. Ty de Burka chasing after this. Just unable to effect his. Now the umpire. The umpire first of all signalled wide. Now he's gone for a 65. There was a moment of doubt. I think it was the referee that made the final call.
Yeah, he kind of fell on it. It definitely came off his leg, all right. Ty de Burka, so deserve at 65, yeah, for Wexford, all right. The umpire got it right eventually, or someone got it right anyway.
So 65 for Wexford. At this stage, it's a case of dropping it in and trying to get a little bit closer to Waterford. 10-point advantage. Waterford will face Kilkenny. They can't face Tipperary in an All-Ireland semi-final because, of course, Waterford and Tipperary played the Munster Hurling final a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Martin, I think they'll be delighted, to get the shot at Kilkenny. They gave them a fair rattle last year in the semi-final without ever really looking like, that they'd get the job done. But they're a year down the road. They took a fair pace in the Munster final, but they'll be hoping they can recover now and have a real cut off Kilkenny in the semi-final.
Chance here for Wexford, stopped, and the goalkeeper had already committed himself, bursting forward, but Waterford are there in loads of numbers, including Shane Fives, and that's gone out over the end line and wide. Wexford trying to burst their way past the Waterford wall of defence, but failing on this occasion.
Yeah, and very hard to get through there with the amount of bodies. And I think Shane Fives has been actually excellent today, Marty, at right cornerback. You know, he has come out with the world of ball, and even Conor Gleeson, who wouldn't have known much about Barry's underage career. I think he has stepped in when Dara Fives had to go off today and done really good job for Derek McGrath's men. He didn't weaken the side at all, really, if you look at it. So they'll be very happy to have a couple of extra options for today fortnight.
Alan Kelly is waiting for the puck out. Stephen O'Keefe has indicated he has the slither, and here he comes now. Easily gathered in turn by Joe O'Connor, who's just been introduced. But again, Waterford deal with it admirably, easily. Joe O'Connor chases after this one, and so too does Jake Dillon. Comes back again for his Boyd Mahoney. Mahoney swings it over to the far over wing. Knocked away for his Paddy Foley. Foley, big number 6. As Wexford just go in search of respectability on the scoreboard here. There's a chance. Perhaps this is the moment that Wexford will crack the back of the net, but again Stephen O'Keefe is able for it. There's Slither coming in off the stick of Aidan Nolan. Waterford in control. This is Austin Gleeson, by the way, wearing number 32 at this stage after that injury. Goes off another one of these brilliant incisive runs, lays it off. There's O'Halloran, and that just doesn't have the legs enough, and good goalkeeping by Mark Fanning. He was under severe pressure, lays it off for his Paddy Foley. And Foley, just on his own 45-metre line, goes for distance again. Great catch. Wonderful play by Lee Chin. He's setting himself up for an angle here and stopped in his tracks by Tyg de Burka. Burka lays it off, but again the ball is given away as Wexford go in pursuit of a goal. Desha are well capable of snuffing out everything that Wexford are throwing at them at this stage. Once again, it's Michael Brick Walsh that is fouled just outside the Waterford 65-metre line. Let's get on to the sideline again for some pitch side analysis with Donald O'Grady.
Yeah, for 10 minutes there in the second half, Waterford looked rocky. Their half forward line dropped too deep, and then they had no half forward line, just went long instead of walking the ball up short. They'll have to sort that one out before they meet Kilkenny in 2 weeks' time.
Third man are going to take this. His radar has been working perfectly this afternoon in Semple Stadium with 7 points to his credit. Double scores. He increases that, does he? Yes, he does. Just sneaking over Mark Fanning's crossbar. It's 21 points now at this stage for Waterford.
Yeah, man, his contribution huge, and the Brick is coming off now to a massive ovation from the Waterford fans. And I mean, again, himself and like 5 marquee players, Marty, were taken off in that Munster final. They just malfunctioned on the day, their whole system, but the Brick and Mourne, like true men, like really came out and answered the call today for their squad and for their management and for their teammates, and a massive servant to Waterford Hurling.
Ball is sent in and sent over the bar. Reduce it down to a 10-point game yet again, and a good score by Jack O'Connor.
Yeah, great score by Jack O'Connor. Very impressed with him in the last 3 games. Was down in Wexford Park against Offaly, very, very good that day, and excellent game against Cork, and has acquitted himself fairly well again today. So, like, they have a lot of young players coming through Wexford, and they just have to keep reintroducing these guys and, you know, bringing them onto the scene, because they're the future for them.
And we have to remember as well that Wexford lost the last 2 under-21 All-Ireland finals, to Clare in 2014, to Limerick last year. So there is young players that Liam Dunn is developing, but it needs a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's it. Like, and as you alluded to earlier, Marty, they did lose a lot of players, you know, between immigration and injuries, and hopefully Owen Moore is not looking at a long layoff now out with the way he was taken off. But, you know, they just have to get those guys into the team and let them settle and become the leaders of the team.
Austin Gleeson's sideline cut is eventually got out over the end line and wide. But when you have players, for instance, like Andrew Shore comes to mind, very powerful defender, to lose players of that calibre, and there's about 10 or 11 of them now out of circulation for one reason or the other, Wexford will be disappointed that they're going to lose this match, but no doubt hopeful for the future, as the ball is dropping in, and that ball is also wide to register Wexford's 10th wide of the match. Just for your stats as well, Waterford have hit 18 wides this afternoon, and they've scored 21 times.
Yeah, it's just too much, though, Marty, you know, and there shouldn't be that many wides, because some of those shots should not have been taken on. You can call them wides, that there were real chances of points, but there was times when they shouldn't have gone for the points. They should have worked the ball in, and they've just got to get that formula right for 2 weeks' time, because we know that the boys they're meeting can punish you very easily.
Jack O'Connor sending this in, and Tadhg Burka has been a super role, has been really superb, and so many balls raining down on him, and he's dealt with every single one of them capably. But that, from a Wexford analytical point of view, will be a disappointment. They should have worked the ball around him rather than peppering him with shots that he's dealt with. Wexford have the situation under control on this occasion. But Waterford are home and host, straight through to an All-Ireland semi-final, where they'll face Kilkenny. The ball is set in, and again seems to glance off the Hurling. The ball is wide.
There's another one from Austin. He'll be getting another chat with Derek in the dressing room for that one, I'd say. You know, he mixes the absolutely sublime with some crazy stuff at times, but he's a joy to watch. He's such an exciting young hurler, and we're privileged to see him in full flow here. The power and pace of the man is incredible.
Waterford walk the ball out for us, Pádraig Mahoney. That ball is well short. Mark Fanning deals with it. Out for us, Paddy Foley. Sending the ball back down again towards Conor MacDonald and Lee Chin and company. Tadhg Burka, courageous as always. The Clashmore man, Philip Mahoney, just won't come up onto the hurley for him, and the referee from Galway, in his very first All-Ireland Championship quarter-final, has blown the full-time whistle. Wexford gave it absolutely everything. In the end, though, Waterford, one of the top 4 teams in the country, winning this game without ever reaching top gear. Well within themselves, Anthony.
Yeah, like much the better team, Marty, and should have had it probably done and dusted by half-time, except for some of the crazy shooting. But look, overall, Derek will be delighted, Marty. You know, he suffered a very, very bad day at the office the last day. They've put it back on track. The nice 2-week break now to the semi-final, and they'll really fancy that nobody will give them a chance. Everybody has the final nearly laid on already as a Kilkenny tip one, so they'll fancy upsetting the apple cart in that semi-final.
Big news is that Waterford are through to the All-Ireland semi-final. The full-time score here in Semple Stadium, Thurles, Waterford 21 points, Wexford 11. And that means that Waterford will face Kilkenny in an All-Ireland semi-final in a few weeks' time. They'll have a lot of work to do over the next couple of weeks. The final tally in stats was 19 wides, but they did score 21 times. And indeed, as Liam and Ger were saying to Michael, indeed Anthony has said in commentary, but once they get their radar working properly, if it all comes together, then it will be a pretty impressive performance. Let's go down to the sideline and join Claire McNamara.
Yes, thanks, Marty. We're here with Michael Brick-Walsh. Congratulations, you're back in business.
Yeah, great win here. It was all about getting out here with a win and moving on to the semi-final. Wexford were going to be a massive test, especially with what happened 2 weeks ago. And look, it wasn't pretty, but we got the win.
How much of a relief was it, given what happened in the Munster final, to just get back out there and get back to win?
It was going to be a tough one. It's tough 2 weeks, I suppose. And you know, I suppose you see it in the football qualifiers. It's very hard to turn it around after losing a provincial final. And you know, great credit to Derek and the lads over us. They got us turned around, and we obviously won here today.
Was there some anxiety there in the second half when Wexford came at you and reduced the gap to 5?
No, look, at the end of the day, there's always going to be ups and downs in games, and Wexford had a bit of a purple patch there, and I suppose we dug it out, and were comfortable enough in the end, in fairness.
It was comfortable enough, and your reward is a semi-final against Kilkenny.
Yeah, we're under no illusions. I suppose Tip and Kilkenny have proven to be the top 2 teams over the last number of years, and we've got well beaten by one, and obviously Kilkenny are at the top over the last number of years, so we're up against a huge task here. We've no qualms about that.
Well, congratulations today, Michael.
Thanks a million, Claire.
Well, I think Michael Walsh summed it up there.